Hey guys, this is God of Politics. Welcome back to a brand new video, but before we get started with this video, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Also join the Discord that is linked down in the description. But in today's video, I'm going to be doing a video in which I analyze Joe Biden's worst case scenario in which he still wins the election. Now, as you can see on the map here, I filled in all the safe states and left at gray, or the toss-up, all the states that are likely lean or tilt. Now, obviously, if you were to give all of these swing states to Joe Biden, he would win in a landslide. But that's not really the most likely scenario of all of this, because you can see here, if you give him all of those states, he gets up to 413 electoral votes. But you know, Donald Trump's more likely than not to win Texas, more likely than not to win Georgia. Same thing with Ohio. Same thing with Iowa. Same thing with Maine's 2nd district, and the list goes on and on. For example, and Joe Biden's not going to win Nevada by safe margin. He'll probably win it by lean. Same thing with New Hampshire. Maybe Virginia likely. And then you got to put in some of these tilt states that will not be going by safe margins. North Carolina is not going safe blue, although some of the polls have showed it there. Minnesota's probably at lean. All these states are probably at likely. And so this is one, it's kind of a more realistic map, with the likely and lean states included into that, not the tilt states. And as you can see from this map, Joe Biden is already at 261, but we have to get rid of Florida as well. Florida is obviously a toss-up. That brings Joe Biden down to 232, which is the same number of electoral votes that Hillary Clinton got in 2016. And then for Donald Trump, he is at 204 electoral votes there as well. So what's the worst-case scenario for Biden in which he still wins? Well, looking at some of these polls here, we can see, for example, in the state of Michigan, Biden is up by a whopping 8 percentage points. If you compare that to 2016, Biden was up by only 4 percentage points in these polls. So it's going to be a lot more difficult to overcome some of these polls, especially when some of them are showing you down double digits. Same thing with a state like Pennsylvania, for example. If we look at the state of Pennsylvania, Joe Biden's home state, he's up by 6.6 percentage points there, and this is all because it's been translated from the national average that shows Biden up by 8-9 percentage points, and that has some translating effect. You have to explain that to people. When you are up 8 on the national scale, you're going to be up a lot in some of these state polls too. Even a state like Wisconsin, where the polls were quite off in 2016, Joe Biden is up by more than what Hillary Clinton was up by in 2016. Well, he is now up by 7 points. If we want to look at another one of these swing state polls, we look at a state like Florida. We look at a state like Florida where you have Joe Biden up by 6 percentage points. We just go through all of these states. Another state, Arizona, where Biden is up by 4 percentage points. We go to the final state here, which is North Carolina, showing Biden up by 2 percentage points. You could even go to a state like Georgia, for example, where, the polls are in a statistical tie within the margin of error, or Texas, where Joe Biden is actually up in Texas, and I don't see those scenarios as the most likely scenarios, but it does seem likely that Joe Biden is going to end up winning this election. But is there a scenario where he loses most of these swing states and ends up winning? Well, yes. And, the must win for Donald Trump, the must win, is the state of Florida, with its 29 electoral votes. Not as much as Texas, because Texas is more electoral votes, and it's a sign of many bad things overall that Texas would be blue. But Florida is one of those really close states that is always going to be 50-50 pretty much no matter what. Coming into the night, we might have an idea of who's going to win it, but really it's going to be a toss-up, I do believe. And Joe Biden has been siphoning away a lot of those old voters, which is going to make it hard for Donald Trump to win. But he is the home state person here. He has been going there recently, his resorts down there, things like that, and he's been doing very well in the rural areas, and so that's a must win for him if he really wants to win this election. And in this scenario, he won't win the election, but he'll get pretty darn close. Now, another city he has to win is North Carolina. North Carolina is where they were holding the convention to try and solidify it. Most of the convention isn't being held there anymore, but North Carolina is another state where you have it being quite close overall, and you have some of those suburban and rural trends offsetting each other, which is working in favor of the Republicans by keeping it red, at least for now. Now, that's another state that Donald Trump has to have as a must-win. He's already at 248 electoral votes here. This one, which is just a district, is Nebraska's 2nd district, a very suburban district, but also includes some exurbs that could keep the state Republican, or the district Republican. It only went to Donald Trump by 2 in 2016. I expect it, at least now, to go to Joe Biden, but that could easily change. And in this scenario, Donald Trump is going to have to win it. Now, Joe Biden is looking very likely, as I showed you, he's up 8 in the Michigan polls. He's looking very likely to win Michigan. I'll put it at a tilt margin for now, but realistically, he's not looking to win it by tilt margin. He's looking to win it by a little bit more than that. And the same thing with Pennsylvania. And if you want to look according to the polls, Joe Biden's going to win Florida. He's going to win Wisconsin. He's going to win Arizona and Texas and North Carolina. He's going to win all of these states. He'll even win a state like Ohio, for example. And if you include Michigan and Pennsylvania into Joe Biden's column, Joe Biden gets up to 268 electoral votes, and Donald Trump is out at 249. Well, what's the next best case scenario for Donald Trump? We have 2 swing states here. He actually has to win both of them here. We look first of all at Arizona. We looked at the polls showing Joe Biden up by almost 4 percentage points. Arizona is a state that has trended towards the Democratic column with some of those suburban trends. You have areas like Pima County, which are Democratic strongholds, but you also have some of these areas like Maricopa County that are trending towards the Democrats. It hadn't gone to Democrats for a very long time. And then suddenly in 2018, Kyrsten Sinema won it in her Senate election. And that was a big win for her. It ended up making her carry the Senate seat. Now, the same thing will happen to Joe Biden. If Joe Biden carries Maricopa County, he will likely end up winning the Senate seat, albeit narrowly, but he will likely end up winning it. But in this scenario, Donald Trump is going to have to win it. And I'm not saying Donald Trump can't win it. Donald Trump can easily win this state, but he's just not favored right now. And that's kind of the gist of the whole thing here. That's why some of these predictions seem, very harsh to Donald Trump, because he's down in all of the odds in these states by more than what he was down by in 2016. You could even say he's against the odds in states like North Carolina, in states like Ohio at this point. Now, while everything could change, that's not entirely what this map is based off. That's not what my map yesterday was based off. But looking at this here, Joe Biden is, winning in Florida. He's winning in Arizona. He's winning in North Carolina. What are the chances Donald Trump upsets the odds in all 3 of those states? Now, it's going to have to be a really best case scenario, because he's also going to have to win the state of Wisconsin due to the numbers of these states, due to the fact that Donald Trump got 306 electoral votes in 2016. Joe Biden only needs to flip Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. If he flips that third one, he wins the election. Say he flipped Nebraska's 2nd district, he'd get to 269, which would give a Donald Trump win. So really, Donald Trump's magic number is 269 rather than 270 due to the House delegations, which are at this moment in favor of the Republican Party here. Now, this is actually an upside for the Republican Party, because Michigan and Pennsylvania are looking likely to flip. If you just saw Michigan, the ads were pulled out by Donald Trump here. Some people are saying he's moving to the Sun Belt temporarily, but this is a sign of the fact that he is not doing very well in the state of Michigan. And if we look at the state of Pennsylvania as well, you have a very similar story where Joe Biden's doing very well in virtually every metric we have: primary turnout, trends in these suburban areas, polls, turnout. Things have been going very well for Democrats there, as well as Joe Biden's connections, which you can argue, work in the same way for Donald Trump in Florida. And so, that part actually works well for Democrats. But say Democrats were winning Wisconsin. What scenario is there where Democrats would actually lose the election? Well, they'd have to lose New Hampshire and Nevada. And, the best case scenario in which Democrats still win the election, they keep those seats, which isn't going to be too hard. And so the worst case scenario, this is pretty much the worst case scenario at this point, is where they win. A worst case scenario where Democrats win is where they flip Michigan and Pennsylvania, which are looking likely, and then they flip Wisconsin, which is a little bit more red, but it's a state that is historically Democratic. It has a Democratic governor. The Democrats won the popular vote in the House seats and the state Senate and the state House seats, so it is run by Democrats overall, and so that does give an opportunity for Democrats to win. They don't have to win Arizona. They don't have to win Florida. They don't have to win North Carolina or Ohio or Iowa or Georgia or Texas. It'd be great for them to win those states, but they don't need to. Even if Joe Biden is up in the odds in those states, he could, Donald Trump could upset those odds once again in an even more dramatic fashion than 2016 and still end up losing the election. And so that's kind of the best case scenario for Donald Trump, where he upsets the odds but still does not end up winning. And that's kind of, the differentiation in this video between a best case scenario for Donald Trump and a best case scenario where he still loses, because this is Joe Biden's worst case scenario in which he still wins. He just loses those 3 Rust Belt states or he flips those and wins those 3 Rust Belt states that Donald Trump flipped, albeit by a very narrow margin, and then him winning by a very narrow margin. That's a worst case scenario in which he still wins. And so, thank you all for watching this video. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Also, join the Discord that is linked down in the description. So, again, guys, thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys later.